Consumers of municipal services across 8 of the largest South African metropolitan municipalities have given them an overall satisfaction rating of 60.6. Now that is out of 100. This is according to the very first South African Consumer or Customer Satisfaction Index, SAcsi, that's what it's called. The survey will be released today, and the author of the particular survey joins us now on the studio, or in the studio I should say, Professor Andre Schreider. Thank you, Professor. Good to have you on the program, and welcome.
Good morning, Leanne.
All right, you polled 8 metropolitan cities and SARS. Why did you begin this survey? Why was it important to have?
The survey has been running now for almost 18 months. It is a national index of customer satisfaction, and in the second year of implementation we included the public service. And municipalities and SARS was first. Then we would do DTI and some of the other public services as well.
Okay. What can we read into some of these results?
I think the main headline here is we're seeing that South African residents of metros do not believe that municipalities meet their expectations. The gap of the worst performing municipality is actually as large as 10 index points. And the average of 60 may be a little bit complementary to the situation, because the spread of the results are actually quite diverse, which means that it's actually going by comparison quite bad. In the United States, the local authorities compare with a score of 70. We're at a score of 60, so we're a good 10 marks behind international standards.
All right. Which particular services were uppermost for the people that were polled? What were they unhappy with?
The biggest complaint areas that we've received were water quality and water supply, with specific reference to metering. The wrong metering, the absence of metering, and therefore that resulted in wrong invoicing and exorbitant amounts of invoicing. Electricity supply was also a problem. Streets and roads, the upkeep and the basic condition of that, potholes that we all mentioned, and then general cleanliness, just littering and just keeping our cities clean.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at SARS, that's what we kind of, that's what we spoke about in the beginning. Satisfaction with SARS is much higher, 69.4%. People are quite impressed with the way it works.
It is actually, we're quite glad that we can confirm some of the good reports that we've seen about SARS. It's a department that's actually dug deep, and they're doing quite well. The mere fact that they scored a 69 is actually comparing well with the private sector. And, you know, we all don't really like paying tax, but the reality is they've made it easier for us. Specific mention about the new systems and the ease of submission and everything around that. So SARS is doing well.
Yeah, that's really good. I suppose we just have to hope that our money that SARS collects gets spent well. That's the most important part.
True.
Will the satisfaction sentiment impact on how these municipal service consumers actually vote?
I have a suspicion that it could play a role in the sense that Cape Town came out tops with a big margin, 17% higher than the average of the municipality. 17% higher. Ekurhuleni we need to mention as well. They're also above the industry average, but 7% higher than industry average. Then we have the majority of the municipalities that's really going not that well. So I believe that if you look at the degree to which people complain and the lack of meeting those expectations, people are going to say, well, do I get value for my money in terms of the taxes and the rates that I pay and the fact that I am a resident of this municipality?
Which of the municipalities, you mentioned that the Western Cape is the one that's right up there. In terms of the municipalities that are not happy, which areas? The
lowest scoring municipality, if we have to identify one, is Bloemfontein, Mangwan, with a 50.4 average.
Right.
Then a bit higher is Buffalo City with East London with a 51.5. But if you look at those two specifically, they, compared to the expectation of the residents, they score almost a 9 to a 10 points lower than what is expected. So it's basically meaning they don't meet the expectations.
Okay, which is not good news for some of these municipalities who feel that they are hard done by almost and not run the way they should do. You say that the satisfaction rate is 17 index points lower than the private sector national satisfaction measure. Does this come as a surprise?
Not really. If we think about how local authorities have actually approached their clientele And I think that is the main reason why this is so low, is that I think they must become more client-centric and really treat residents as clients. They're paying clients, and therefore they need to be treated that way. By comparison to South Africa, that in our 2013 came second best in the world. So as a country, we're not that bad. Only Turkey was better. We were actually outscoring the likes of USA and Europe and some of those. But when it comes to local authorities and public service, it doesn't seem to be the same story.
Just before I let you go, what other satisfaction scores or surveys do you actually carry out?
We right across the industry. We do airlines, we do banks, we do supermarkets, we do clothing retail. And obviously this is the newest one, it's public service. We call it citizen satisfaction. It's a very big thing in America and Europe, where it's actually thought that the happiness of a nation is actually a better economic predictor of the wealth of the nation. Yeah. Which means this is a measure of that.
Okay. How satisfied are South Africans in a nutshell?
I think not so much in terms of local authorities. We have a lot of work to do, but I think there's some good stuff here. Cape Town is doing well, SARS is doing well, and almost against expectation. All right, well,
let's use that information, and if you would like to read the information, you can visit the website www.SAcsi.co.za. Am I saying it right?
SACSI.
Okay, so rather sexy than I mustn't say. So it does sound quite sexy when I say sexy, but that's just me. All right, www.SACSI.co.za. Visit that website. You'll be able to read that survey there online. So that's the South African Customer Satisfaction Index. Professor Schroeder, thank you very, very much for joining us. Now, also just to let you know that this was conducted in the Buffalo City, the city of Cape Town, the city of Joburg, the city of Tshwane, Ekurhuleni, eThekwini, Mangaung, and the Nelson Mandela Bay municipalities, just to give you an idea of exactly which municipalities were surveyed. All right, let's